All right. I'm live. I'm getting the link for you.
Come on, lift those hands in the air. Lift those hands in the air. Come on, those hands. We see. Clap your hands in the air. Praise the name of Jesus. What you say? He's my rock. He's mine. He's my fortress. He's my deliverer. In Him will I trust. Praise, praise the name of Jesus. Come on, can we lift it up? Oh, praise it, praise the name of Jesus. He's my fortress. Praise Jesus. Come on, let's lift it up. Everybody say praise Jesus. We come to the name of. I say it real big. Jesus. He's my rock. Say he's my rock. The chief cornerstone. Stone builders rejected. He's my rock. Say can stand on the name of Jesus. You can stand on the name of Jesus. While other things are going down, you can stand on the name of Jesus. Because I know that I know that at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow, yeah. Hey, and every tongue shall confess. What you say? That He's my fortress. And He is battles for you. They gon' wonder how you sleep at night. Won't he do it? Ah, yes, he will. If anybody so different, you know that's a lie. Look back and be so amazed how it turned out. It's only his grace.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This is Afternoon Conversations. I'm your host, Andre Ajaho. Thank you so much for joining. Just giving people one more minute, 1 minute and a half to come in. Just leave a comment and let us know that you're watching. Just let us know. Say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. We're going to be talking about mental health today. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining. This is Corinne on Do It.
Yes, you will. If anybody tell you something different, you that's a lie.
Thank you so much for joining. Today we discuss mental health. We are in a mental health pandemic. We need to get right to this conversation. And I'm not alone. I am. Thank you so much for joining us. Please leave a comment. Let us know that you're here.
Lord, save me from my weaknesses. Hey, cause you're always on time. Come and get your breakthrough, cause I'm gonna get mine. Oh, won't he do it? He said he would. He'll fight your battles for you. Fight your battles for you. Oh, won't he do it? Yes, he will. Let me tell you something, you know, you go back and be so amazed. How proud is this? Oh, won't he do it?
Hello, thank you so much, Lady Ferrer. Thank you so much for leaving a comment. Good to see you. We're about to get started just now. Just 1 more minute.
Won't he do it? He said he would. He said he would. He said he would. So I spent all time.
Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us today for Afternoon Conversations. Again, I am your host, Andre Jaho, and today we are going to be discussing mental health. Okay, we are going to be breaking down mental health, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot that is going on in the black community with dealing with mental health. Okay, and we have to do better. Police brutality is one thing, racism is one thing, but when it comes to other entities as we hurting ourselves, that's another thing. There are a lot of things that we do that that don't help the situation, and we're gonna discuss some of those things today. And like I said, I am not alone. I have a special guest that is going to be joining me today. All right, I have a special guest, and that special guest, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be able to find him on Sunday evenings. He is the lead pastor at Faith Family Church. He is the lead pastor, and he is doing services at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. All right. This whole pandemic has really forced a lot of our churches to have to go live, but I'm thankful for social media. I'm thankful for for technology, because without technology, I don't know what would be happening right now in this pandemic. All right. But he is the lead pastor at Faith Family Church. Okay, and you can catch them at 7 p.m. Okay, on Facebook Watch. You can also watch him every Monday at 12 noon, where he discusses cognitive restructuring. He also discusses mental health. Okay, he has a mental health moment. Also, Tuesday, you can catch him and his wife, Lady Sherelle Ferrer, for their marriage mandate. And that's every Tuesday at 11 p.m. on Facebook Live. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Pastor Robert Ferrer. Thank you so much for joining us, Pastor Robert.
Bless you, man. I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor and privilege.
Yes. I'm so glad that you were able to join us today, so we could discuss mental health. I believe that we are in a mental health pandemic right now. We're in a medical pandemic, but I believe that we've been in a mental health pandemic for many years. Even before my time. I'm 36 years old, born in 83, and I'm sure that African Americans have been dealing with mental health issues way before I was born, even before you were born.
Right. That's right.
So,
true.
It's basically how do we tackle mental health in the Black and Christian community? When you think about Black people, you think about Christianity. That's how I identify. I'm a Christian. But mental health is also something that's plaguing the church. That's plaguing, you have pastors that have killed themselves. You have pastors that are in depression. You hear these stories of pastors that have, they just quit because it was too much for them. What is your thoughts on, mental health in the Black and Christian community?
I think it's really important that we understand how important it is to commit to our mental health. I think within the church, especially, we've been committed to our spiritual growth and our physical health and our in different areas of our growth, but our mental health has somehow have been lacking a bit, and we have not committed to our mental health. But during this crisis that we've been going through, I think we're understanding how important it is to really commit to your mental health and how important it is to be mentally sound, because everything going through and the trauma that we have experienced for years, especially the African American community, it's affected us mentally, and it affects the things that we do and how we become self-destructive because of that trauma that led to mental health issues. So, I think now more than ever, people are understanding it, and we need to really sound the alarm how important it is for you to really care about your mental health and do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're mentally sound. The Bible says that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power and a sound mind. So we really have to work on, having a sound mind. And it's understandable. The African American community has been through a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot. So it's like, through all the stereotypes, and we've come a long way, but we still have been affected. And our mental health is one of the things that has been affected. So we really got to pay attention to it. It's not something to take lightly.
Right. Yep. I definitely agree with you, Pastor Albert. There's a story of a young lady named Toyin Salou. I'm not sure if you heard. Well, I did send you the link. Her name is Toyin Salou. Is a Black Lives Matter activist.
Yeah. Right.
And she passed away. She was murdered, and she wasn't murdered at the hands of police. Actually, the person that murdered her was a Black man.
Right.
And the first thing when I first heard of the story, I said, wow, she spoke out against police brutality. She was even speaking out against the the transgender community, trying to speak up for them, and LGBT, and some people may be for that, especially as Christians. Some people are not for the whole LGBT community and things like that. I have a different stance on it. I'm a Christian. I do have family members that are in the LGBT community, so in my heart, they're my family. I grew up with them. I can't I can't throw them away. They're my family, so I have to just love people for who they are. I can pray for them, but at the end of the day, I'm not the judge. God is the judge, and that's my stance on it. But she really, was really passionate about, just helping people, and she was murdered, murdered by a black man. And when you look at the story, when I read the story, they say that he suffered from mental health issues. He confessed to the murder. He actually called, when he did the murder, he called his mother and confessed to the murder. And his mother did say that he has been dealing with mental health issues his whole life. And, for the past 2 weeks before the murder, he actually murdered 2 people. But he was dealing with some things. And, that's just another thing, another black man that has problems, things going on in his mind, whether he's faced trauma. You even have veterans. I have family members that have served in the military. I know people that have served in the military. You hear stories about, even our veterans, that they have all this trauma when they come back. Mental health issues. Imagine the mental health that slaves, our ancestors have went through. Some people have great grandparents that their parents were slaves, and it's just like a cycle, that has come down from generation to generation. Even when you think about spanking your children, like my wife and I, we don't spank our children. There's a root to spanking. When you watch these movies like 12 Years a Slave, and you see how they treated the slaves, and I'm sure that it was worse than what the movie can actually depict.
Absolutely. That's right.
But it's like when you look at how African American parents would beat their kids with a switch. When I was a kid, I got beat with a switch.
Right.
But it's like when you really think about it, that came from somewhere. That came from somewhere, and it came from slavery. So that's why my wife and I, we don't really agree with spanking our kids. There's other ways you can discipline your kid without you having to be abusive to them,
Right. I totally agree with that, man. I definitely agree. I think people have to be more intentional about the things that they do and how it affects your family, and making sure you make those sound decisions. I actually work currently as a substance abuse counselor. So we get clients who come in for a 90-day inpatient treatment program, and many times they almost always 90% are dealing with mental health issues. Issues with PTSD, anxiety, ADHD, all types of mental health issues. And we put that as one of the goals in their treatment plan, to work on that mental health issue. I think, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, we even have family members in our families who have mental health issues, and we just ignore it. We don't even make steps to see for them to get help. So I think we have to be way more intentional about mental health. When we see a problem, we should try to do what we can to work toward helping that individual, and just not take it lightly when someone is having mental health issues. They show signs that they have mental health issues. We want to do whatever we have to do to kind of assist that person, because truth be told, statistically, the Black and African American community are 20% more likely to report serious psychological distress. 20% more likely to report serious psychological distress, and that's for many. So we cannot take it lightly. We have to be serious about our mental health, and what we need to do, take advantage of all of the resources that we need to that we have available, and go ahead and check on our mental health. Do not ignore it. It's very, very important.
I agree. I totally agree. That's why I have you on. You're the expert. I have to help people learn that are smarter than me. But and of course we have to pray.
Absolutely.
We have to continue to pray. I've prayed, even the little small things, not feeling well, my stomach hurts. God, please heal my body. And then my body's healed. I can't really say, well, it just happened. It was fate. It was just Mother Nature or whatever. Some people, but I believe.
The funny thing about it is that God works through many different ways. He works many different ways, and we might put God in a box and say, well, He's only going to work this way. But sometimes God will work through a counselor. He may work through a therapist. He may work through a medical physician. God works in many different ways, and we have to be open to however God wants to work in our personal lives. So we having an issue. Some people might say, what, I don't want to go see a counselor, or, I believe God too much. I have too much faith to go and seek help from a therapist. Like, people say things like that. But you know what? God may be using that person to bring you into healing, your mental healing that you need. So you kind of can't have a closed mind. You have to have an open mind on however God wants to work, and be a participator in your own health. Like, you have to be a part of it. You can't just say, Lord, I need a miracle, heal me, and you don't want to participate in the process of your
Right,
healing.
right, yep.
You want to do what you do your part, and when you do your best, God will do the rest. So you just make those choices. You make those decisions, and and you got to do this. And I look at a lot of the African American community, especially that are dealing with poverty, and how poverty definitely is a big thing that contributes to your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
People are doing not being able to pay their bills, not knowing what's going to happen. If they're going to get evicted, or if they're going to not be able to eat or have clothes, like things like that will definitely weigh on you mentally and definitely bring you into a stressful place. So we got to make sure we're conscious of that. And, like I said, don't ignore it. Your mental health is very, very important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are absolutely right. You are,
Because
yes, sir.
feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness, they lead to mental health issues. When you start feeling hopeless and worthless, you start having mental health issues, and then eventually it's going to show in your behavior and how you act.
Right, right. Yep, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right, Pastor.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I want to bring up another topic. I mentioned this at the top of the show that, sometimes, there's certain things that we do for ourselves that, I kind of believe that it kind of doesn't help the situation, that there are certain things that we do as a people
Right.
that it doesn't contribute to the solution. It more contributes to the problem. Okay.
Right.
When you have young people, okay, I'm still a young person, but I'm older now. But when I was a teenager, even going to school, we would cut up on the bus. We'd be on the on the MTA going to school, cutting up a little bit. But as I got older, I would be on public transportation, and I would see young people acting the fool, and I was like, me and my friends were not this bad, and you see them acting crazy. They're loud, they're blasting music, they're being disrespectful, they're just acting like almost like animals. They're acting in a way that I'm sure they would not be acting if their parents were present.
Right.
Okay, so I feel like some of those things, they don't really help contribute to the problem. So there's been a talk on Facebook about sagging pants, and it says, when you walk around like this, you are seen as bums, uneducated, idiots, unemployable, losers, future convicts, mature, home training, future, an embarrassment to the black culture. Father, we are better than this. Okay, this is bigly as a picture on the screen of five guys on the beach in swimming trunks. Okay, they all have underwear on under the swimming trunks, and they're sagging their swimming trunks. And there's been so many times that I've seen young, and this is when I'm older. Okay, when I was older, I've seen guys sagging their pants, and I asked them, I said, why are you sagging your pants? I don't know. I've never gotten
a good answer.
A good answer for someone sagging their pants. So Carlton Pete on Facebook is actually the one who posted this. Is actually the one who posted this picture on Facebook. And what are your thoughts on young people sagging their pants?
I've always problem with it, actually, but I was trying to be understanding, because I know there's different fads and different styles throughout the years. When I was younger, I used to kind of like wear my hat to the back, and I used to be told, turn your hat around, don't do that. But the whole pants sagging thing, I think it just goes to a whole nother level. I kind of find it a bit offensive to be walking down the street showing their underwear. It's kind of like, to me, it's a little too much. And I feel
Right.
like it's somewhat disrespectful in some ways. Where your underwear is showing, your pants is completely hanging down. Personally, I feel like it's counterproductive in so many ways. And like, let's say you do something that you're not supposed to do, and you need to run. You can't run with your
Right.
pants.
Yeah.
How far can you get? Right. So so many things about it that's just totally. I just think it's so far gone to past just being stylish. It's just like, to me, I feel like it's some self awareness that need to happen. And I feel
Yeah.
like we're in a society where we need more male mentors, male mentor programs, male mentors as a whole. I was doing some coordinating with a school near my church, and I was kind of like corresponding with the social workers that work there, and I was trying to put together a mentorship program for the young men. And the lady was so elated because they have not one male counselor. Like, every single counselor were female, not one male.
Wow. Wow.
And so shocked by that. And I'm like, that's really odd to me that there's no male counselors available for anything like this. So I think there's a need for the mentorship. I think there's a need for the older generation to pour into the younger generation, for some positive influences that will be like hands on with the young people, because you can see them from a distance, but really be hands on with somebody is very, very necessary. So I think in the African American community, where there's such a lack of fathers in the homes, that we need somebody, to be that. The church is so great, and you can come to church and it can be like your family, because you come and you can have, the engagement with other men and other women, and have that family structure in a way, even if you're not getting it at home. So it's like really, really great, to do that and to be intentional about that. So I encourage people, young people, become a part of a church or a group where you can be mentored, and let somebody that's older, that's been around longer than you, just pour a little wisdom into you. It definitely will be helpful for you. And I think this pants sagging thing is like a indication that something missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Missing.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And then so Carter Pierce said, "Can we make this go viral?" He said he's been saying this for a long time,
Right.
and but the culture. It seems like the culture has no big problem with it. There are a lot of things that the culture, that um, that we complain about.
Right.
Even a lot of times when you are watching, I'm not sure if you watch Revolt TV, but that's like when the rappers. I know Sean Combs is
Uh-huh.
actually
I heard of it.
has created Revolt, so he has a lot of programming that's for our people. Very positive stuff. You have people like rappers like Killer Mike, Ti, that go on and they discuss a lot of issues.
Oh,
Sometimes
wow.
sometimes I feel like they should actually discuss these issues too, of how African American men dress. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the way that I like to dress, and I'm not rich by no means, all right? I'm not wealthy yet, but I'm not suffering either. So
Amen.
basically, I like to dress where I can wear a shirt and a tie. I love to wear my belt. Oh no, I love to wear my belt. If I don't have a belt on, I do not feel complete. Okay,
Right.
and that's how I've been my
Me
whole
too. Me
entire
too.
life.
Same way.
So the fact that I can see people that are wearing, that are walk around and just hanging, that just baffles me. But
Yeah.
basically, what I'm trying to say is, if the people in power, these celebrities, the rappers, they should be able to talk like that. Talk in the sense of, okay, dress in a suit and tie. There's nothing wrong with dressing in a suit and tie. I went to a Christian school, okay, Bethel Christian Academy, and we had to wear uniform, and that's another thing that put it in me to
Mhm.
want to have no problem with wearing a suit and a tie, wearing a uniform.
Mhm.
So basically, I feel like if they can talk like that, it's like when you watch shows like Power.
Mhm.
50 Cent made that show. The lead character's name is Ghost, and
Mhm.
he wears a suit. Basically, his whole premise is wearing a suit. I feel like you can promote that. Even in the NBA, you know, at one point, the NBA had a standard where, okay, when you're not playing, when you're traveling, you have to wear a suit.
Right.
And I feel like that's what we need to get to. We need to get to where being dressed appropriate is cool. You know, not I'm sagging my pants. You know, but now it's even worse now because sometimes they have the tight pants on, and you're wearing tight pants, but then you're sagging tight pants. That's even crazier than having baggy pants on sagging it.
Right.
So it's like I don't know, but we have one more person that has something to say on Facebook. Her name is Asia, but I took a screenshot of what they said on Facebook, and she says this is a sub comment that she had underneath Carlton Pete's comment, and it says, how many of the last police shooting victims had sagging pants? It does not matter what we do. This nation was not produced for this. Now, when she says that really makes a lot of sense also, because the last few people that died were not sagging their pants. So in a sense, it may not, some people may say it doesn't make a difference if we sag our pants or not, they're still going to kill us. I say no. If we all start changing our appearance, because if you have 100 black people in a room and 80 of them are sagging their pants, the other 20 are not, they're looking at the majority. And even if you had 2, they're still looking at those 2. Sometimes one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. So if we all can at least start from there, teach our young people how to dress appropriately, I just feel like that's going to be better for us. And it may not change things in the right so quick, but I believe that it will help.
I agree with you. I feel like Lady Sherelle had mentioned how we have to, as mentors, we need to be patient as well. And our approach is going to be really big. We're trying to get the young people to embrace a different way, that we have to kind of be strategic about our approach. So as we approach them in love and show them that we really care about them, everything that we're trying to do is only for their benefit, then they begin to embrace what we're saying. And then we can kind of show them that there is another way that you can go that may be a little bit more respectful or more professional or more, decent, and then they'll listen more. So I guess we have to really teach it about, our approach and us showing love and just being patient with them, and then letting them know, you know what, why don't you open yourself to this other way? You know what I mean? Right. And then when we do that, I think we have a response, more of feedback from them. A lot of you want to be loved and they want to be accepted, but they just don't, know how to communicate that. So when we do these things and we like these open forums like now, and we discuss these issues, I think it's good to talk about, because then we can say, what can we do to get you to embrace a different way? What can we do to kind of like let you look at it from a different perspective? And we'll look at things from a different perspective too. And then we come into some common ground and we can see you guys, grow and mature. You know what I mean? That's our goal. I think that's definitely going to make a big difference, especially in the mentorship arena. They want to know, you want to make sure that the people you're mentoring know that you care, that you really do care, and that whatever you're saying and doing is for their benefit, because you just want to see them succeed. And once they understand that, you'll be amazed of the things that young people will accept and be willing to do if they know that the person telling them really does care about them.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Well, I make sure I tell my sons, hey, wear a belt. I make sure I buy the belt. Right. Because, some people will say, oh, I don't have a belt.
Right.
There's been times when I lived in Brooklyn, and there was a kid, he was a neighbor, and he would, anytime I would see him, I say, hey man, you sagging your pants, pull it up. And he said, hey man, I don't have a belt. So I took him to the dollar store, bought him a belt.
Right.
Didn't really help though. I don't even think he may have put it on that moment. The next time I saw him, he didn't have the belt on. Yeah. So I mean, I tried, but
But that's why influence is so important. I saw my daughter said basically, sometimes they don't know another way. So it's like influence is so important, and being that influence, because some people, that's all they know, that's all they've been around, but that's all they've been taught. It's just what they do, and we got to change those influences.
Yep. Yeah, we do. We have to. The saying "it takes a village"
Right.
is very true.
Yep.
Even though now in 2020, sometimes if you try to talk to someone else's child, it's almost like that's fine. Like don't talk to my kids, you know.
True. It's true. That's very true.
But then I say, hey, I wouldn't be talking to them if you were present. You're not around. You're not saying something to them, so I gotta say something to them because in a sense, I kind of get what they're saying. I don't want people talking to my kids in a
Right.
certain way, but that's why my wife and I make sure that
Right.
we teach our kids everything that we have to do so
Right.
nobody has to speak to them and say anything like, oh, you better do this or you better do that. We make sure
Right.
we keep them straight first, and then if
Right.
someone else has to talk to them, then we will deal with them. But you
Right.
have some parents that are just not present.
Right. That's true. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Yep. It's unfortunate but true. I think also you got to remember back in the day, people, you felt more safe because people were able to, see a kid somewhere doing something and tell them don't do that 'cause the community cared about one another. Like this,
Right.
we different world now where people have different agendas. So it's kind of like more of a, you speculate more than you did back in the day. Like when I was
Yeah.
young, I had neighbors that my mother knew that they saw me somewhere that I shouldn't be. They would tell her or they'll tell me, look, what are you doing over there? They'll let me know
Yep.
because it's how it was. But it's so different now. So it's like
Yeah.
a different world.
Yep, different world, a different time, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever gonna go back to those times. I don't
Right.
know.
I don't
I
think so.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I believe that was a good discussion that we had, and
Thank you.
I think just have to keep this conversation going at home.
Right. Right.
Race is not something that I've ever wanted to discuss with my children. I knew there would be one day I would have to discuss it with them, but right now my kids are young,
Right.
8, 9, and 11. And I just never really wanted to discuss the difference in race. My kids have white friends,
Right.
and because we live in Long Island, so it's predominantly white area, so the school is
Oh,
predominantly white. There's like maybe a handful of black kids, so
right.
most of their friends are white. I never wanted to say, hey, what, that white kid or that white person, da da da. We don't speak like that to our children. But
Right.
because of all of these things that have been happening in the news, you have to sit
Right.
down and I have to, my
Have
wife
to,
and I have to kind of give them a little talk and, let them know, hey, this is how things are. But,
yeah.
and then eventually, sooner than later, I have to have that talk with my son. If you get
Mm.
pulled over, this is what
Right.
happens. This is what you do.
Right.
When I get pulled over, I don't. Anytime I see a police behind me, I get nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You never know. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
straight. I'm just driving. I'm straight, but you never know.
Right.
So,
Right.
but that's we know God. We have to still have faith and pray, and we know that God is watching over us. Sometimes when I think about these situations that have happened, though, Bolton John was the gentleman that got killed when the police officer came into his house. She thought she was going into the wrong house.
Right.
He was a Christian. He was a saved man. Church going man. Church every Sunday, praise and worship leader. So if it happens to him, it could happen to me. I've been in church my whole life. It doesn't
Right.
just happen to thugs
Right.
and people that have their pants hanging low.
Right.
So
I've been pulled over. I've had situations where I've neighborhoods where the police would run up on me and just frisk me from the end. I've had situations where I would tell a police officer that this is my vehicle and they didn't believe that was my vehicle.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And it really was an awakening for me. And I had to say, you know what, a goal in life and for all the African American community is to continue to fight for change. As long as you live, continue to fight for change.
Right.
But also be careful, in everything that you do, and teach your children to be careful. Don't give them a reason. Don't give an officer a reason
Right.
to have to do anything.
Mhm.
So you're being careful. We continue to fight for change because fair is fair.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. We have to continue to fight. This is not something I ever thought I would live through. You know, especially this pandemic. This pandemic
Right.
has really brought
Right.
a lot of things to light. You know, but
Right. Right.
we have to, we have to continue on. You
Right.
know, we still have to be safe. You know, I encourage everyone to continue to practice social distancing because this
Absolutely.
pandemic is not over.
Right. Right.
You know, they've reopened the city, yes, but it's not over. I'm still
No.
being cautious with my children. They're young, and I don't really want. I'm not even sure if I'm sending my kids back to school because
Right.
I mean, there's so much stuff we could talk about, but we'll have to talk about that another time. But just be careful, because a friend of mine sent me a video, and I will text you the link, Pastor
Okay.
Ferrer, that
Uh-huh.
they're talking about these vaccines now. You know,
Right.
they're putting all this mess in these vaccines
Right.
that
It's true.
can kill us.
Yep. That's
You
right.
know, and something that I've never liked is when they say, oh, okay, well, your son, he needs his shots, your daughter needs his shots, or they can't come back to school. It's like, why?
Right.
Don't force me to put things in my children's body
Right.
that you don't even know what's in that vaccine, you know.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
now we got this coronavirus thing now, and
Right.
they're gonna have these vaccines that it takes about 2 to 3 years to actually come up with a vaccine that works, and it haven't even been 6 months yet, and
Right.
they're, you know,
Right.
so I don't know what's gonna happen, but me and my wife are in talks now about literally doing homeschooling, whatever we can do, because I believe it's not safe to send
Right.
anybody back to school, you know,
Right.
let alone, you know, you go into school, you don't know where people are coming from. Everybody,
Right.
you know, it's dangerous. It's a
Yeah,
dangerous time.
it is. We definitely have that same conversation. My wife has always been skeptical. Even she was always skeptical of the flu shot. From
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beginning.
the flu shot will kill you too.
We've been saying having the same conversation. It's not safe. You have to be safe and prayerful at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah.
the day. Sure. Definitely.
Yeah, because back in the olden days, people, I'm assuming people got sick, but they didn't have no flu shot. You know, there's a natural way to heal your body. You don't have to take
Right.
any medicine, you know?
Right. Right.
So it's like, why can't
Sure.
we get back to that? But they put all of these things in there, and of course it's about money too. You know, you get
Right.
sick, and then you have
Right.
to have health insurance. You know, your
Right.
health insurance is what pays the doctors. The
That's
doctors
right.
prescribe, so the prescription and drug companies can make their money. They can make X amount of dollars, but they have to get you sick to give you the prescription.
Right.
So
Exactly.
if you really think about it, they're making us sick on purpose so they can make money. Because if everybody literally just ate veggies and just ate healthy and didn't get sick, then that sector would not make money, and
Right.
then
Right.
they're gonna have problems. You know?
Right, right. You know, it's so funny. I went to a training and I was doing this training on in psychology. It was a psychology training, and it's saying that there's this book that they use. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's basically a list of all of the diagnoses that psychologists use before they prescribe medications to clients. And they said many, many times they go by symptoms, but sometimes the symptoms don't line up with what the real illness is. So people prescribe with medications for stuff that they don't even have. So it's
Right.
like they're going by the symptoms. It's like, you know, with regular health, you could take a blood test, and whatever the blood test results say, then you know what the person has and what you could treat it. When it comes to like psychological and psychologists and psychiatrists, they're only going by symptoms. So you can go by symptoms and you can be wrong. So that's
Yeah.
why I encourage people, you know, I'm not saying anything against psychiatrists, but just be very careful if you find a Christian counselor or life coach or someone that can, you know, been trained, a trained professional to help you, you know, kind of go that route first, because a lot of the times they diagnosing people with things like ADHD and, you know, different and PTSD and things like that, where they
Yeah.
may not actually have it. And when you're being prescribed medications, you're dealing with the side effects now.
Yep.
So you kind of got to be really, really careful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You definitely have to be careful. Lady Ferrer says on Facebook they're looking for test dummies.
Yeah, yeah,
And you're absolutely right, because there was a article that I saw that they're talking about where, you know, whatever new prescription that they're going to come out with these vaccines, they're saying that these vaccines are not going to work unless African Americans use them.
wow.
So that's like you're saying, okay, we have to test it on African Americans to really make sure it works.
Wow.
Why? I don't know, but that right there, I do not want to take any vaccines.
Right.
Thank God,
Right.
nobody in my family had the coronavirus. Thank God, and we basically have been home. I only go to the supermarket. I don't take my kids out nowhere. Go to the supermarket, doing a couple home projects, or go to
Right.
Home Depot. That's about it. I haven't gone to nobody's function.
Right.
No parties, no nothing. Just been, or outings or anything. Just staying home, being safe, and
Right.
I know these people are crazy.
Right. Exactly. So true.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pastor
Thank you for
Robert.
having
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. I want to thank you and your wife, for being on. Well, your wife she was on in the comments, but
Right.
thank you so much. And, we will be having another afternoon conversation, and I hope to have you back on.
Absolutely.
And everybody, thank you in the comments. I want to thank everybody, Sherelle Ferrer, Tatiana Ferrer. Thank you much for comments. There are a lot of comments. Usually I'm able to put these on the screen, but I'm actually hosting and producing at the same time. Usually I'm behind the camera, but I'm trying to just multitask. Thank you, Ashali Lewis. Thank you so much. Today, Christina Brown. Thank you so much for us. I just want to thank everybody, and thank you again, Pastor Robert Ferrer.
Thank you.
Can you please tell everybody on social media how they can reach you if they need counseling, prayer, someone to talk to?
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, we're actually on Facebook. I have a page named Robert Ferrer LLC, so you can book me for individual counseling if you need. And also, wife and I have a marriage ministry we call Marriage Mandate, and we come on live every Tuesday at 11 p.m. We're about to change the time, but we come on every Tuesday at 11 p.m. And right now I'm doing an anger management series. So every Monday at 12 noon, I've been doing a series on anger management. So I did part 3 on yesterday, and we're going to do part 4 on next Monday at 12. So you can meet me on my actual page, Robert Ferrer, and you'll see every Monday at 12 noon, I'm still in this series of anger management. It's really great, man. It's actually helping a lot of people. So just continue to follow us on our page, also at Faith Family Church, and you can see a lot of the things that we're doing there. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, everybody. You heard that. You can find Pastor Robert Ferrer on Facebook. I will actually put a link to him in the description, but you will be able to find him. Just type in his name in the Facebook search bar, and you will be able to find him and everything that him and his wife and Faith Family Church are doing in their community. Thank you again, and
Thank you.
God bless everyone. And remember, we are having the Morning Coffee podcast every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Please join us, and we will see you on the next one.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Morning Podcast. Well, I am Wakanda forever. Every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Only on Facebook's Black News Undisputed and Facebook Watch. No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! Thank you, God.